Hey guys, it's me, Vera. I'm your wellness editor, and we're back with Wellness Wednesdays in 2017. For our first guest of the year, really appropriate, we have Lauren Imparato here. She recently came out with a book called RETOX, which you can get on Amazon. We're going to be talking about New Year's resolutions and basically how to kind of reset and what you need to do to make 2017 your best year yet. I think a lot of people talk about what you can stop doing, what you can kind of like take out from your daily routine, but instead of focusing on the negatives, Lauren is all about what you can add. So it's a lot more positive. So we're here to talk about basically how to retox instead of detox. So yeah, do you want to tell me what made you come up with this idea? Like, what's the problem with detoxing?
Yeah, you know, I grew up in California and I was an athlete my whole life and, you know, ate usually a massive pizza after a big smoothie before smoothies were cool, you know, before dinner. And then I came to New York and was working, and all this messaging out there was about detoxing and cleansing and depriving and fasting and this and that. And I was like, this is just ridiculous. There's gotta be another way.
I got a lot of emails about that. Pitches. All the pitches I got for New Year's resolutions were like, you know, 7-day juice cleanses, like just like a lot of not very like scientifically unhealthy things. Yeah.
And that's exactly what it is. It's actually scientifically proven to be unhealthy throughout all different walks of medicine. And so I delved deep into the studies and realized through studying anatomy and physiology and nutrition and psychology and meditation and yoga that actually what you need to do is add things into your life. You know, and adding your things into your life to be strong, to be healthy. You know, cleansing or detoxing literally means to strip yourself away. But don't you actually want to be strong and successful and go take things on? Like, it doesn't make sense when people want to be strong and happy, why they're suffering through drinking 7 very expensive, I'd like to add, juices a day.
Sometimes it's only 5.
Oh my God. Well, I can't even do like a morning with just a juice, so I'm a croissant girl.
I'm all about the eggs. So what's interesting, you just said you were an athlete. I also grew up an athlete. I was a tennis player.
Oh, cool.
And I just remember my coach told me that I should stop eating certain foods because I needed to get faster for conditioning. And it really, like, I ended up fainting on the tennis court one day because I wasn't eating enough, because I thought to get faster I had to be lighter and that to be like, so I wasn't getting any stronger. I was basically just getting weaker because I wasn't really eating enough food, and I had to learn that the hard way, that not eating enough is really not going to help you at all. But what about in terms of, so at teenVogue we're all about body positivity. So if we want everyone to be happy with their body, we don't like the idea of weight loss, weight gain, wherever your body is, it's good. If you're naturally thin, that's cool. If you're naturally curvy, that's cool too. But whatever your body type is, would you say that, can you see strength? Would you say there's a body type for like strong, or do you think every body type can be?
Well, I think a couple of things. First of all, strong, there's many different ways to be strong. You know, like I am, in my body, I am a strong runner, and I have really strong legs. And until I started doing the type of RETOX yoga I do, which is full of all these chaturangas and push-ups and stuff, I didn't have strong arms. Did that make me my whole life before that weak? I don't know. Not really. I was strong in other places. Ditto, I have a strength for writing, but maybe my strength isn't engineering like my husband's is, right? So there's strength across the battle, and I think that we're too quick to define strong as one thing or another. And to speak to what you spoke to, I have a whole chapter in the book called I'm Fat, and about how my journey also is that I wasn't eating enough because I thought I needed to be skinnier because of someone told me and / girl, I don't know, insanity that you realize as you get older.
Lots of mixed messaging out there.
Mixed messaging, and I actually broke my femur bone in my leg. And you can read about that in the book, and it's that story of how I thought I needed to be stronger like you in a different way, and I misinterpreted that, so I took out all the nutrients my body needed. You know, and that's what you're doing in detoxing, really, is you're stripping away the nutrients that your body and your mind need to be strong. Because the body isn't just about the physical body, but it's about the internal body, right? They always say that radiance comes from the inside. You know, and so but it's really also your energy comes from the inside. And you want to be strong in a way that, yes, you want to be able to run or jump or do your dance or whatever that is, but you also need to be strong in your mind enough to feel good about yourself. Now let's be honest, in today's day and age, you need a lot of mental strength to feel good about yourself and not get down and depressed and bullied.
Yeah, especially with social media. I mean, right now, if you're in high school or if you're in college, cyberbullying is like all-time high right now. And then actually there's an organization called Crisis Text Line, and I just recently was reading that cyberbullying is more often linked to suicide calls than like bullying in real life. So I think with all the social media and like all the negative attention on, you know, what bodies look like, there's like a lot of pressure. There's even more pressure now than there has been in the past.
Absolutely.
So let's say, you know, your average like high school girl or average high schooler who wants to, you know, be happier with their body wherever you are. What would you say is the first step in terms of retoxing?
I think the first step is to understand that all our bodies are different, and all our bodies, especially as females, change all the time. You know, your body from 13 is different from 14, 14 and a half from 15, 20 from 21, 21 from 21 and a half. It's just part of the evolution of a female that guys are never going to understand, and that's totally fine, but it is what it is. So I think it's understanding, what do you want to feel and look like, and why do you want to feel and look like that? Is it that you want to fit in a different clothing size? Is it that you want to just feel good about yourself? Is it that you want to take on a challenge? And, you know, so the first thing in retoxing is taking, particularly I think we're speaking to the I'm Fat chapter, is the idea of like, let's take a step back. Realistically, are we not active enough? Do we need to become more active? Which, by the way, may make you lose weight, and it may make you not, but either way, it's probably going to make you stronger in mind, right? Which is the most important thing, because the mind is one thing that you carry with your whole life. You know, and then it's about, okay, what am I looking at across the day? Am I eating foods that make me stronger in body? And then from there, taking it from there. So I'd start with, first, why do I want to do this? And what do I want to feel? What does it mean? What would success mean for me in that? And then what am I taking enough care of myself nutrient-wise, which I think is tough for young girls. You know?
Yeah, I think it's definitely hard if you don't grow up, especially if you don't grow up cooking with your parents. I think it's hard to keep track of what's good and bad for you.
And also with so much messaging out there of like, eat this, eat that, don't eat this, don't eat that. It's just so confusing.
And you don't get to grocery shop, so it's not always up to you what you eat. And that's something that I totally understand. My mom loves making comfort food. And when I was growing up with I had my tennis coach in my ear constantly just being like, okay, lay off the pasta. And I'd be like, but I like it. And it was definitely the wrong message. Because I just didn't understand what I should have been doing in terms of like basically feeding my body to be strong and fast and good at being physical.
But that's a perfect example, if I can interject here. Like, I'm Italian, my last name's Imparato. I love pasta. If you go on my Instagram page, like every 3 recipes is pasta. It's like my favorite thing to cook and eat. I was just on a 3-week digital detox in Italy. I ate pasta twice a day for 21 days. You know, I'm never gonna say no to pasta. The retox message would say, you eat the pasta and you eat a salad at the same time. So you have a pasta and you have a side salad, or you have a pasta loaded with vegetables. And that way you're adding in these extra nutrients that are what you need, and a little bit crowding out, let's say, the 3rd serving of pasta, right? And it's because the vegetables have filled you up. And that's what you would do in retox, as opposed to suffering through a food that we all love.
Even if you don't like veggies, you can find a way. If
There's
that means sandwiching it between 2 servings of pasta, fine.
Yeah. Well, there's a bunch of recipes in here on how to hide those veggies in.
Amazing. In terms of mental health, because I don't know about everybody out there, but my New Year's resolution is to find my chill, basically. So how can I have a pretty stressful job, and when I was in school, I always was stressed out about grades. It was like, it used to keep me up at night. I used to not be able to sleep because I'd be so stressed about like test scores and like SAT scores and getting into college. What are some ways that you can retox that don't have to do with food?
Yeah, so, you know, we're all stressed, and this is a very stressful time, especially. And I call it, you call it finding your chill, I call it finding your mental beach. You know, when you're on a beach, or maybe it's a mountain for you, whatever that is, for me it's a beach. You know, I'm just chill. Like, no one needs to tell me to chill. I'm chill. So how do you find your mental beach? In the Retox methodology, I'd say the first thing is to stop. doing whatever you're doing, or even if you're walking down the street or walking through the hallways, and take a huge breath in and out through your nose. Inhaling through your nose and exhaling through your nose. There is scientific proof in both Eastern and Western medicine that changing your breath actually affects how your brain waves move. So if you breathe in and out through your nose, it actually is slowing down, or not slowing down, but smoothing out your brain waves, which is automatically making you more chill or putting you on your mental beach. And by the way, that's something that you can do in class when you want to like be angry at your teacher, you know, when you're walking down the hallway, when you're in a sporting event, when you're stressing out about your grades or your scores, or even when perhaps when you're in a test and you need your mind to think clearly.
Yeah, I've definitely frozen before. I've frozen because I was in the middle of taking a test, and all of a sudden I got to an essay and I just completely forgot the book that it was about, and I was like, what do I do? I don't remember anything.
And then you panic, and then your brain shuts.
Yep. So, okay, sorry, so continue.
So I would say 1 to 3 breaths, if you can do, I just put a live Facebook yesterday on 1 minute of breaths, in and out through your nose. That's like the easiest thing we can do.
What is there, because I feel like different people have different breathing methods, so I forget who I was talking to recently, a trainer at Nike, and he told me about a method that was like breathing in for like maybe 8 seconds, holding your breath for 7, and then releasing over the course of 4 seconds. There was like a count. So is there something like that, is there some kind of method that you think is the best?
So I base everything I do on traditional Tibetan yoga, and I think that's actually a variation of one of the, what they call pranayamas in there that I go through in the book. The easiest way in my mind to not add extra stress, right, because this can all get stressful, this breathing meditation thing, is just to count, inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, exhaling through your nose, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then keeping that count in and out through your nose. And by the way, that's also going to help you in every other athletic thing you do as well.
Yeah, I had a roommate in college who had panic attacks, and whenever she would have, it wasn't very often that she would have one, but it'd probably like twice a semester. And I used to always remember she would lay down on a cold floor, like the floor in the kitchen, and she would breathe really slowly, and like, it was really loud. And I remember she said her yoga teacher taught her this. And then I was with, like a couple years later, I was with someone else, and they started having a panic attack, and they'd never had one before. And because I recognized what it looked like, I was like, lay down on the floor and breathe really slow. Just count, and it worked.
Yeah.
It was really amazing. But I didn't make that connection until now.
I mean, I think we make the connections when we make them. You know, I had my first panic attack in college as well, and I was in my dorm room, and I had gotten rejected from a consulting firm, and I was panicking that I was never going to get a job, and then I was going to be a pauper on the streets of New York, having half a baguette a day to eat, and then to get fat because it was only bread. You know, the female brain just like takes it in all these directions.
Little did you know that you just have to put a salad in between the two servings of bread.
Exactly. And my mom called and walked me through this breathing exercise that her yoga teacher had taught her, but I didn't put any of that together until I was writing the book.
And now you run your own yoga studio, right?
I do, in New York, and online as well.
See, good thing you didn't get that job at that
Yeah, exactly. Well, I worked on Wall Street for a lot of years too, so you can always be whoever you want to be.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. Okay, so I'm trying to think of New Year's resolutions that people may have that we should rework. One of them, I would say, the one that I always want to talk people out of is losing weight, because they just think they need to, and I think you should be allowed to do whatever you want with your body, but you have to think about why. And if you're unhappy with how your body looks and that's it, then it's not about losing or gaining weight. It's about rethinking how you're looking at yourself, because you already have everything you need to be happy. So in terms of that, so let's say someone is constantly talking to themselves negatively when they're looking in the mirror. Can you give them any direction and like how they can retox to sort of combat that?
Yeah. So the first thing I think that I find helpful for my clients and for me is just with lipstick, because it makes it kind of fun, just write a heart or draw a heart on your mirror.
That's so cute.
You know, and I did that for myself. You know, when I worked on Wall Street, I weighed 125 pounds, and now I weigh over 160. And
you're so strong now. You're like,
I've never been more fit, and well, maybe not my short, like when I was 21. Hoochie Mama dresses fit, but like all the other ones fit. And for the most part, and weight is it's just a number. It's what you said. It's about the inside. So take a lipstick, red. Let's just go like 80s style, the decade I grew up in, and just draw a big heart on your mirror. I mean, if your mom lets you. And,
That's
and keep
cute.
it there. And then you walk in, and not only is it kind of fun to look at, but then it reminds you to love yourself. You know, and I think that that's a really fun, simple thing to do.
This has to be one of my favorite pieces of advice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no one's ever told me to do that, and I really want to go home
Welcome
and
to
do
the
it.
Retox life.
Yes, and retoxing. Okay, what else can we do?
So the other thing I talk about is stems from all the stuff I've studied. And remember, like, you know, you look at clouds in the sky, right? If you ever lay down, or here in the city, if you have a second to look up, you know, clouds are changing form all the time. You know, one second we see a rabbit, the next second we see like a feather, whatever it is. And that stems from this thing that I talk about in the book, which is there's no such thing as an unchanging thing. So just like a cloud, things are always changing. Your body is always changing. If you really don't like your body, look at that heart. And in that heart, from your heart, know that your body can change the way you want it to, but also know that your body will always win. Meaning, if you are starving it or you are not treating it well, it's going to fight you back in some way. Whether that means you're constantly sick, or you get an allergy to something that's severe, or you break your femur bone like I did, or you collapsed on the court, your body's gonna protect you. So you have to listen to that. So it's about going into the love with that heart for yourself, and then remembering that it's gonna change, and you have the capacity to change it, which is like the awesome thing about being alive, right? We can change every single aspect of ourselves in our lives just with a little bit of love and a little bit of work. Which doesn't have to be painful in the Retox way.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting, because it's basically like if you're not doing something right or in a healthy way, your body's going to try to tell you to stop by making you feel too tired to do something, or making you feel just bad. I remember when I wasn't really eating a lot, and also playing tennis, I was always in a bad mood.
Yeah.
And
Your body hated you.
Then no matter how much I slept, I was always really tired, and I just remember the second I started eating twice as much, but I just like started eating what I wanted plus healthy foods. Actually, I felt so much better, and I was actually like happier. It's like the mood, you can tell by your mood.
Yeah.
Another common New Year's resolution actually that I've been getting a lot of emails about is people with toxic friends. So if you have any friends who, like if you have a best friend who bullies you, or if you feel like your friends leave you out a lot and you're kind of like the odd one out of your group, I think a lot of New Year's resolutions come down to like, make my friends like me more. And I think that that is totally the wrong way to look at it, because you're amazing however you are. But do you have what about in that situation? What would you say?
I totally hear you on this. You know, I never fit into one clique growing up, right? Because I was like the captain of all these sports teams, but I was also like the super geeky student. So both, you know, I participated in both groups, but I was always kind of left out, and it kind of sucks. And then your parents tell you, don't worry, you'll see back in the future that it's gonna be fine. And then you're
Parents
like, oh,
never
mom.
Yeah, parents never get it. Actually, a study shows that parents don't understand how stressed out they're.
Well, especially now in the digital age, right?
They don't get it.
Yeah, they don't get it. And I think that, you know, I've even gone through a phase recently in the past year and a half of sort of cleansing my group of friends. And I think it's something that's not just in this age group, but in this age group, it's understanding when you're there that it's okay to be strong and alone. And not alone isn't something bad. You know, like by not being in these cliques, quite frankly, I stayed out of a lot of trouble. I spent a lot of time with my family, who I love and is still my favorite people to spend time with. I studied a lot, I wrote a lot, I made like a cookbook not knowing that I was gonna have a book later with recipes. You know, and started all these little businesses not knowing that's what I was gonna do as an entrepreneur. I didn't know these things, right? And it's okay to like not be out with a big group of friends all the time. I think that value and finding quality is always better than quantity in everything in life, from the pair of shoes, I'm a shoeholic, to the group of friends. You know, it's better to have one quality friend who inspires you and encourages you to be a better version of yourself, and who nourishes you, right? Retox is all about nourishing, physical and mental, and through food as well. But a friend that nourishes you, one of those is more valuable than 10 who are kind of bashing on you and don't make you feel great when you get home.
So would you say retoxing the situation would be finding just one friend who just treats you well?
Yeah, I would. I really would.
I think that also goes for like, because we have Valentine's Day coming up, so I've been thinking about, you know, what are we going to talk about on Valentine's Day? And I'm a huge believer in like being single is a good thing. So I think a lot, there's this like pressure about, you know, being in a relationship sometimes that people feel, or they feel lonely and they think that they're unhappy because they're not in a relationship. I think definitely instead of, let's say someone is looking at 2017 and they're like, this is the year that I'm going to find a partner. I'm going to get a boyfriend or girlfriend, whatever. Do you think that that's the right way of looking at it, or do you think there's a better way to detox?
I think that's definitely not the way of looking at it, because whatever you go seeking in that is probably not going to come to you in the right way, you know. And I think that happiness, first of all, has to come from within. And I don't want to sound cheesy, so don't get really upset with me, but like, if you're not happy and you think you need somebody else to complete you, then no one's going to make you happy. You know, it's probably just like you, when you weren't eating, you were unhappy all the time. Mm-hmm. I don't care what relationship you're in, it's going to be a very small chance that if you're unhappy with yourself, that you're going to be happy in that relationship. Mm-hmm. And I'm proof. I had like one boyfriend for a year, like my whole life, until I met the guy that I ended up marrying now. And I took like 11 years to marry him, you know, and I was happy to not have boys. Not all the time. Sometimes I was like, oh, this is the year I'm going to have a boyfriend. And then my grandmother sat me down, she's like my best friend, and she was like, listen, first of all, you underestimate the value of freedom.
So true.
Yeah. Second of all, are you happy as you? And I was like, yeah. She's like, well, then why do you want to mess somebody up in that situation right now? You're young and you're free. And third of all, she said, remember, you can also have a lot of different friends in different ports, and then if it's the right person for the long haul, they'll show up like that as the big boat.
Mm-hmm. So that just reminded me of something. I'm trying to remember what it is. You just said something. Oh, I'll get back to it, but I actually just realized, so whenever I take yoga classes, I am like always obsessed with my yoga teachers, and I always end up asking them for life advice because they're usually really wise. Example A. Do your students, like, is there something you get asked a lot in terms of like life advice, or just like helping people redirection?
Like direction of life?
Yeah, like what would you say, I don't know, what would you say people usually ask you for advice about the most?
What am I doing with my life?
What do you say when they ask that?
I say that, first of all, there's many different phases of life, mm-hmm. you know, and it's okay to be a chameleon and reinvent yourself. Mm-hmm. You know, I went from a jock in California to a nerd geek at Princeton to being one of the only females on the trading floor of Morgan Stanley at Wall Street to being a wellness entrepreneur to being an author. Right? Wow. And so, but they all, like with hindsight, you see where all those pieces make sense and they all grown on each other. Mm-hmm. But in the moment, we have this panic of we have to figure out the thing right now that we're doing. Mm-hmm. What school am I going to? What club am I joining? Who am I going to be? Am I going to be the cool girl or this girl or that girl or that? You can be all of it, you know, and that's why, like, I wear tutus and my Jordans together, right? Does that mean I'm girly or boy? I don't know. It's who I am. You know, I like my tutus and I like my dresses.
I love that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, I don't know what preach is, but yeah, I love it.
Yeah. No, it just means I agree.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
No, thanks. No, but you know, I have a whole Jordan collection, and I have a whole dress collection, I have a whole high heel collection.
That is like so teenVogue. We love,
maybe we'll do a little RETOX shoot or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I think that there's too much pressure for girls to be one thing or another. Like, why can't you be it all? I mean, I just don't understand. Who said that you can't be it all?
It's like, it's too much pressure for everybody. There's pressure for boys. Like, I just read this study that, you know, guys in high school now are experiencing a lot of bullying over their body, and that body image is a huge issue for boys. And then you have trans and gender nonconforming kids who have like no body to look up to, or like they're just forgotten about and not even talked about. So I think for everybody, everyone's confused about what they're supposed to be, who they're supposed to be, but that's such good advice, I think, that no matter, if you just follow, would you say as long as you're pursuing what you want, you'll eventually figure it out? Would you say that's a good compass?
Two things. Pursue what you want and don't limit yourself in what you pursue. You know, like, you can equally be an artist or an actor in the play and be like an important team player on the basketball team. You can do it all. I don't care who told you not, or what social pressure or school pressure has told you not. You can absolutely do all of it. I'm living proof, you know? And the other thing is that you don't have to, I guess, be happy within yourself. And I know that's such a hard, esoteric thing, but know that you are you, and it's okay to change. Mm-hmm. You know, it's really okay to change.
Yeah, that's a big one. It's okay. Whatever you're doing now isn't forever. That's something I had to remind myself.
It's like the clouds, right?
Mm-hmm. It's like the clouds. Like my sister, she's in college, and she's she was like going back and forth on majors. Just FYI, it's really common to change your major.
Yes.
Don't freak out if you don't know exactly what major you want to be. You could go through 4. I have a friend who went through actually 4 majors, and they're fine. And then when you're in high school, you don't know what college you need to go to, and it's all like, it's going to be okay because nothing decides something for you forever.
No.
But it kind of seems that way. So you're not alone in thinking that, but it's not true. So is there anything, so again, RETOX is Lauren's book. She's amazing, and you can basically become almost a guru like her. Is there anything that, should they check out your website or anything?
Yeah, you can check out Instagram, which actually all these I.AM.YOU Studio, I.AM.YOU Studio, and the website is retoxnow.com. And also we have a little gift for you guys, teenVogue and everybody that's watching. If you go to retoxbook.com and you've gotten the book, I have a 1-hour at-home yoga class. And the playlist that actually goes with the book, I eat music, because I think music is really important to listen to and change your vibe, and a whole other 3 hours of music. And you have a 3-day menu plan to make you strong from the inside out, because strong is the new skinny anyways.
Yes, so all the nutrients you need, so you can have the pasta and whatever. And
there's pasta recipes and chocolate chip cookie recipes in the book.
Oh my god, amazing. Okay, so I'm ready to retox. I don't know about you guys, but thank you so much.
Thank you guys.
I'm so happy. I'm so excited to try my new breathing exercises later when I'm really stressed out at my desk. So I will see you next Wednesday for another Wellness Wednesday. And thank you, Lauren, again.
Thank you guys.
This is the best. Thank you. We'll see you guys later.
Bye. Thank you.